Forget the hairstyles, forget the celebrity marriage, the billboards, the brand deals, and the global fame. Strip it all away, and what are you left with? You are left with a right foot that didn't just play football, it bent the laws of physics to its will. Tonight, we aren't talking about Beckham in Icon. We are dissecting the mechanic, the engineer, the absolute anomaly who turned a static ball into a guided missile. We are analyzing the exact moment physics broke every time David Beckham touched a football. In the history of the sport, there have been dribblers, there have been finishers, and there have been athletes of immense power. But Beckham represented a different category entirely: the precision instrument. While others relied on pace to beat a fullback, he rendered the defender obsolete from 40 yards away. His delivery wasn't just accurate, it was statistically improbable, creating angles that goalkeepers and defenders simply couldn't calculate in real time. This is the story of biomechanical perfection. To understand the anomaly, we must first look at the foundation, the stance. Most players approach the ball with a focus on power, keeping their center of gravity relatively neutral. Beckham did the opposite. Watch the approach. It is almost distinctive to the point of being a fingerprint. The run-up isn't straight. It's a calculated arc, usually about 45 degrees to the ball. This approach angle is the first variable in the equation that allows for that signature hip rotation required to generate extreme torque. The secret usually hides where you aren't looking. While everyone watches the right foot, the magic begins with the left. The placement of his standing foot was aggressive, planted firmly alongside the ball, pointing exactly toward his target. But look closer at the ankle stability. The force traveling through that planted leg is immense, acting as the anchor for a trebuchet. Without this rock-solid foundation, the whip of the right leg would send him off balance. It is the silent partner in the physics of the curve. This is the signature, the lean. Most players stay relatively upright to keep their shot low. Beckham did the opposite. By tilting his spine almost parallel to the turf, he wasn't just adjusting his balance, he was lowering his center of gravity to get his foot specifically under the ball. This extreme angulation allowed him to lift the ball effortlessly while applying massive side spin, all without sacrificing power.
That left arm, it's iconic. It's not just distinct style, it's physics. By raising his left arm high and wide, he creates a counter-lever to the massive momentum of his right leg. It's Newton's third law in action. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. As the right leg whips across his body, the left arm stabilizes the rotation, ensuring that all the kinetic energy is transferred into the ball, rather than being wasted in body rotation. Without that arm, the cross flies into the stands.
Now, the moment of truth, the impact.
A traditional strike uses the laces for power or the side foot for safety. Beckham utilized a hybrid zone, the instep, specifically around the first metatarsal bone. By striking the ball slightly off-center and wrapping his foot around the spherical shape, he isn't just pushing the ball, he is rolling it across the face of his boot. This friction is what initiates the spin. It's a glancing blow, delivered with the force of a hammer strike.
This brings us to the Magnus effect. As the ball rotates, it drags air around with it. On one side of the ball, the air moves with the spin. On the other, it moves against it. This creates a pressure differential. High pressure on one side, low pressure on the other. The ball is literally sucked toward the low pressure zone. Beckham didn't just understand this intuitively. He mastered the rate of revolutions per minute. He could impart so much spin that the ball would shift several yards in the air, defying the goalkeeper's initial trajectory prediction.
Let's apply this to open play. The whip cross became his signature utility. Most wingers need to beat their man, sprint to the byline, and cut it back. Beckham changed the geometry of the attack. He didn't need to beat the fullback with speed. He only needed a yard of space. From 40 yards out, he could unleash a delivery that curved behind the defensive line, but away from the goalkeeper. It is the corridor of uncertainty, and Beckham owned real estate there.
Ask any striker who played with him. York, Cole, Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo. They will all tell you the same thing. I just had to run. Beckham's delivery meant the striker didn't have to generate the power. They just had to direct it. The ball arrived with such pace and whip that a simple glance of the forehead was enough to send it past the keeper. He removed the workload from the forward. He was the chef serving a meal that was already cut and ready to eat.
Tactically, this revolutionized the right midfield position. Before him, the job was vertical: run up, run down. Beckham played as a quarterback stationed on the touchline. By operating deeper, he drew defenders out, creating space behind them for overlapping fullbacks like Gary Neville. It was a symbiotic relationship. Neville provided the legs, Beckham provided the vision. He didn't need pace because the ball moves faster than any man can run. Why sprint when you can pass?
Return to the mechanics for a moment. Look at the follow-through. It is exaggerated, almost theatrical. His kicking leg doesn't stop. It swings all the way across his body, sometimes hitting his opposite shoulder. This ensures maximum contact time with the ball. The longer the foot stays in contact with the ball during the swing, the more energy and spin is transferred. A short follow-through results in a jab. Beckham's long follow-through resulted in a guided missile.
There is no better case study for his technique than Old Trafford October 2001. England versus Greece. Stoppage time. England trailing. World Cup qualification hanging by a thread. He had run nearly 16 kilometers that game, an absurd amount of ground to cover. He was exhausted, but when the free kick was awarded, the physics engine in his brain reset. The fatigue disappeared, replaced by muscle memory honed by thousands of hours of repetition.
The ritual was always the same. Place the ball, valve facing the target, a superstition perhaps, or a visual cue. Steps backward, deep breath. In that moment, the stadium noise, the expectations of a nation, the media pressure, it all creates a tunnel vision. He isn't seeing the wall, he is seeing the flight path. He is visualizing the trajectory before it happens. It is a moment of absolute stillness amidst chaos.
The strike was pure textbook Beckham. The run-up was dynamic, the plant foot solid, the arm raised. The ball traveled 30 yards. It started outside the post, fooling the goalkeeper into thinking it was going wide, before the Magnus effect took hold. The spin bit into the air, and the ball swung violently back inwards. It didn't just hit the net, it hit the very corner, the unsavable zone. Physics, precision, passion. The moment an entire country exhaled.
We cannot underestimate the psychological trauma this inflicted on goalkeepers. When Beckham stood over a dead ball, the goalkeeper was already losing. If they cheated to one side to cover the curl, Beckham would whip it into the goalkeeper's side. If they stayed central, the curve would beat them to the corner. He forced them into a lose-lose cognitive state before the whistle was even blown. His reputation did half the work for him.
But it wasn't just the curler. He had the knuckleball before it was trendy, striking through the center to create erratic movement. He had the driven pass, kept low and hard like an arrow. He had the chipped through ball, weighted with the delicacy of a golf wedge shot. While the mechanics of the lean were consistent, the micro adjustments of his foot allowed for a complete encyclopedia of passing ranges. He wasn't a one-trick pony. He was a master of every variation of the kick.
Look at the modern game. When you see Kevin De Bruyne deliver that early cross from the half space, or Trent Alexander-Arnold whipping a ball in from deep right back, you are seeing the echoes of David Beckham. He drafted the blueprint for the deep-lying creator on the flank. He showed the world that you don't need to be in the box to control the box. He proved that the most dangerous thing on the pitch isn't always the player moving the fastest, but the ball moving perfectly.
There is a myth that technical geniuses are luxury players. Beckham destroyed that notion. His heat maps were astonishing. He consistently covered more distance than defensive midfielders.
This work rate allowed him to be in position to use his right foot. You can't deliver a perfect cross if you aren't there to receive the pass. His engine was as impressive as his technique, fueled by an obsessive desire to prove he was more than a billboard model.
When he moved to Madrid, amidst the Galacticos, he had to adapt. With Figo on the wing, Beckham often tucked inside. Here, his physics-defying passing range shone in a new light. He became the quarterback, spraying 60-yard diagonal passes that landed on a teammate's toe. The biomechanics remained, but the application shifted. He proved that his technique wasn't system-dependent. It was a universal tool that worked in any tactical setup.
None of this was accidental. We talk about talent, but we must talk about obsession. The stories are legendary. Young David staying behind after training at Cliff, aiming at a tire hung from the top corner of the goal. Hours upon hours of repetition, strengthening the ankle, refining the hip rotation, calibrating the lean. He treated striking a football like a science experiment that needed to be replicated thousands of times until the variable of error was eliminated.
Cultural impact is rarely tied to biomechanics, but here it is. Bend it like Beckham became a phrase understood globally. It wasn't dribble like Pele or score like Maradona. It was bend it. The public fascination was specifically fixed on the physics of his delivery. He made the technical act of crossing the ball cool. He made kids in parks everywhere lean over, raise their arms, and try to replicate that impossible arc.
The true measure of this technique was its resistance to pressure. In the biggest moments, when muscles tighten and adrenaline ruins fine motor skills, Beckham's technique held firm. Why? Because it was mechanically sound. It didn't rely on luck or fleeting inspiration. It was a robust mechanical process that could be executed in the 90th minute of a World Cup just as cleanly as in a training session. The physics never failed him. We must acknowledge the telepathy. His understanding of space and time allowed him to lead his teammates. He didn't pass to where they were. He passed to where they would be in 2 seconds. This anticipation, combined with the curve that bent away from defenders, meant that he was dictating the play for everyone else. He was the conductor of the orchestra, and his baton was his right boot. Even as his legs slowed during his stints at AC Milan and PSG, the right foot remained lethal. You can lose speed, you can lose stamina, but you do not lose touch. In fact, as he aged, his efficiency increased. He ran less, but influenced more. He proved that while athleticism is temporary, class and perfect biomechanics is permanent. He was still putting the ball on a sixpence in his late 30s.
Wearing the number 7 shirt at Manchester United carries a heavy weight. Best, Robson, Cantona. Beckham didn't just wear it, he redefined it. He took the shirt from the mercurial dribbler and gave it to the grand architect. He showed that a winger could be the primary playmaker,
the heartbeat of the team. He set a standard for delivery that Old Trafford has been chasing ever since he left.
Wimbledon, 1996. The goal from the halfway line. It wasn't just audacious, it was a calculation of trajectory and goalkeeper positioning that a computer would be proud of, that shouldn't exist. He turned the football pitch into his own personal chalkboard, solving equations that resulted in the ball resting in the back of the net.
But beyond the physics, there was the heart. The technique was the vehicle, but the fuel was his undying love for the game. Critics called him a brand, a celebrity, a distraction. But watch him play. Watch the desire to block a cross, the willingness to take a hit, the bravery to demand the ball when the crowd is turning. The right foot was magical, but the player attached to it was a warrior.
So, why was David Beckham's right foot unstoppable? It was the perfect storm of anatomical alignment, the Magnus effect mastered to an art form, and a tactical intelligence that weaponized these physical traits. He turned crossing into a guaranteed assist. He turned free kicks into penalties. He was a glitch in the matrix of football, a player who could hurt you without ever entering your penalty box.
History will remember the fame. It will remember the icon. But true students of the game, the purists, we will remember the lean. We will remember the arm raised to the heavens. And we will remember the ball, spinning, curving, dipping, and defying logic on its way to destiny. David Beckham didn't just kick a ball, he composed a symphony with his right foot, and the music was absolutely beautiful. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.